dance. Yes, what's going on, people? It's your boy Nahominho. How you doing? You good? You good? You good? I see you. What's going on? Listen, Premier League is back with a bang, baby. Like, there's so many goals. Opening day of the season is insane. You know, like, we got a lot to get through today. So, first things first, where do we begin? Man United. What a performance. Matic to start with. Boss. Like, I can't believe Chelsea let him go. It makes no sense. Like, he freed up Pogba, but he himself was starting to move like Messi at times. You know what I mean? Like, what's that mad dribble that he done all the way up? He beat how many players? But you know what? Well done, well done. It's a great signing. I think he's going to be a key player for us for the rest of this season. Lukaku. His touch is not serious, 100%. There's no disputing that. But you know what? He got 2 goals. He could have got a hat-trick. But he did lose the ball 18 times. Now, that's not going to matter to us in the Premier League too much because he's a machine. He's been doing this for a long time, so he knows how to score. I'm thinking more about Champions League with regards to that. But seeing as that's not in any way, shape or form our aim this year, it's all good. For me, Paul Pogba. The Billy dance, as you just saw me do on display this weekend. Be ready for that to be a feature of the season. Pogba, for me, he's the best player in the Premier League. Definitely the best midfielder. But as an actual individual footballer, I think he's the best player in the league. He's got everything to his game. I think this year is all about him pulling it all together. And I think he's going to do that, especially with Matic in the side. They look like a great partnership already. But I'm just excited. Like, I haven't seen Man United like this in a long time. Like, the squad is beautifully balanced as far as I'm concerned. There's so many options. Like, you started with Mata, Mkhitaryan and Rashford. Man was able to bring on, if he wanted to, he could have brought on Herrera, he could have brought on Martial, he could have brought on Lingard. There's options all over the pitch at the moment, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a good look, man. We got things to be excited about. You know what? Mourinho. Now, those of you who know me know I'm not his biggest fan. However, he's looking like a human being again. He's looking happy. You get me? Last year, he looked like he was sleeping in a bathtub with no pillow the whole season. Like, these bags under his eyes were crazy. You know what I mean? His attitude was all stink. Like. But this year, he seems positive. He's got no bags under his eyes. He seems energized and refreshed. Like, it started off very well for you now. That's very early days. I'm not going to get carried away. But I do think we're in very, very good shape going into the season. So, watch this space. You know what? I think we're going to win the league this year. If we're going to talk about United and Matic, we're going to have to talk about Chelsea, innit? Conte must be doing his nut right now. He's going mad. Like, how do you get moved to by Burnley at the Bridge? This is a Burnley team who, scored hardly any goals away from home last season, let alone took any points. They took like 1 point last season, I think, from their away games last season. So how do you concede 3 goals and lose 3 points to Burnley at Stamford Bridge? It makes no sense. Captain Unfantastic, playing his first game as club captain, official club captain, lets the team down and gets himself sent off in less than half an hour. What the hell was that challenge about? Like, he wasn't the only one. After that moment, especially after Burnley scored as well, Chelsea lost their heads. David Luiz could have been sent off. He went head-to-head with a couple of players. Marcos Alonso, he was very lucky not to see a second yellow card. But the one that did see it, that little guy, that little irritating guy, Fabregas, he's always up to little things here and there, always complaining and moaning. He got a first yellow card for clapping at the referee. Well done, mate. But then he got a second yellow card for a filthy challenge. So now, Chelsea, next game, what are you going to do? No midfield? Like, you've got literally only got Kante available for Tottenham. That's a tough game. This season for Chelsea already has shades of Mourinho's final season at Chelsea for me. Their pre-season, very indifferent, mixed. The players still don't look fully fit. They lost the Community Shield game to Arsenal. They struggled on the opening day. They have a lack of a squad going into the next game. This is all starting to look a lot like Mourinho's old last season at Chelsea. Conte flipping out apparently. Like, you know, he's not happy with the board and he's making it very clear. So he's unhappy. Like, things are not going right with Costa at the moment. Obviously he's away. Like, a lot of things going on. Like, they have a paper-thin squad. I don't understand what the board's plans were coming into this pre-season. Batshuayi. Is he just a Mark II Sonogo? It doesn't really matter. They got Morata. Morata came on, and you know what? He looked classy. They scored a wonderful finish, wonderful header. The flick for David Luiz, the assist was a brilliant assist. It was he saw exactly what he was doing. Just, you know, them ones. Morata's looking like he might be a good signing for them, and they're going to need him to be at his very best for a whole season. Can he carry a team the way Costa did? I don't know. Time will tell. You know, he's never had to. He's never been that first choice player anywhere, so we'll see what he does. Let's not be all negative about Chelsea. Pedro coming back from his suspension, and Moses coming back from his suspension. Bakayoko will be a good player for them, and let's not forget them still missing Hazard as well. Regardless of that, I still do think their squad is paper thin. I don't have too much faith in Chelsea sustaining any kind of challenge for anything this season. There's just not enough players. Liverpool and Arsenal, both teams clearly have a very, very good attack. Clearly, they both scored 3 goals and 4 goals respectively. Both defences what's the word I'm looking for? Garbage. You know, garbage? These man couldn't defend a cheeseburger from a vegan. Let's be real. Now, to be fair to Arsenal, they had players missing. They played a better team than Liverpool did. And they actually secured the win. So, you know what? Credit to Arsenal. They did well. They showed some resilience that, you know, you don't really see from Arsenal too often. Especially on the opening day. It's usually their game that they're going to normally lose. But they're still lacking. They're still lacking though. But no one is lacking more than Liverpool. They needed a centre-back or two going into the season. They definitely needed a left-back. They haven't dealt with that yet. They spent a whole summer chasing Van Dijk. Fruitless. They didn't think about no backup plan, no other centre-backs that they could sign. Meanwhile, their best centre-back at the club is alienated. He's fallen out with Klopp. He's never getting back into that team. And even if he was, he's injured now anyway. Sacco, for all of you that's wondering who I'm talking about. Now, the other thing is, you signed Andy Robertson for 10 million. So why in God's green earth did you start with Alberto Moreno? Moreno is the worst left-back in the Premier League by a mile. Alexander-Arnold though, very good game. He played very well. I think he's a very good prospect, man. He's very quick. He seems very composed and comfortable on the ball. He's much more effective than Nathaniel Klein going forward. I don't know if he's as good as him defensively just yet, but that will come. The boy's still young. Now let's talk about Arsenal again, their attack. Lacazette. He's a good player. He's looking like a real threat. He's looking like he's going to be a real problem this season. There was little things he could have done. He could have scored one or two more the other day against Leicester. But you know what? His movement, yeah, Ozil's definitely going to have fun playing with him. So we'll see. The news is that Alexis Sanchez was spotted in Paris on Saturday. What's he doing there? It's the second time in a couple of weeks. Why? It can't just be a holiday, because why is your agent there? There's questions got to be asked. Now, it's very hard to judge what's going to happen with Arsenal's season until we know what they're going to do about Sanchez and if they're going to be able to sign any more players and how many more players they're looking to lose. The board's come out and said that they're only really looking to sell players at the moment, which they find it very difficult to shift because they've got a lot of dead weight at the club. So it's very hard to get rid of dead weight. So watch this space with Arsenal. I don't know, but either way, whatever happens, Lacazette is looking like a very good player for them. Potentially be a decent season for them. I don't see it being a title campaign season, but it could be a decent season for them. Man City and Spurs now. Man City, they comfortably beat Brighton. Brighton couldn't string together 3 passes. It's not really a test for them just yet. I expected Man City to come through that test with flying colours, which they did. It was easy for them. One thing that was interesting to see though, Pep was constantly shouting at Vincent Kompany. So he was playing right centre back. He's shouting and barking at him, stay further wide, push further forward. Kompany's not comfortable there. If that's the plan for them going forward in this season, I fancy City to get opened up like birthday presents. You get me? Enough gifts everywhere, because Pregnant Head, aka Kompany, he is going to crumble and break down again, and it will be Pep Guardiola's fault if he does break down this season by asking him to do that role. He should play him in the middle. I see why he's trying to play Stones in there, but Stones is the more mobile of the two. Play Stones wide. Kompany, just rely on him and trust him to play the centre man at the back. Spurs, they haven't made any moves in this summer, but arguably their squad needed the least work. So really and truly what they did need to do was buy a few squad players and have 1 or 2 players that could challenge and push, in fact be in that first team as well, especially after losing Kyle Walker. Going forward, Spurs are dangerous. They showed it the other day again against Newcastle. They were lethal. They were a bit wasteful, to be honest, but they were dominant, completely dominant, and I think they're going to have another decent season. I don't see them sustaining the title challenge this year because of the move to Wembley. I still don't think their squad is big enough or their backup players are quality enough to sustain a Premier League run, the Champions League run and the domestic cups. So I think they'll just drift off a bit, but I still think they're going to be better than a lot of the other teams that are supposedly chasing this Premier League title. I can't talk about this game without talking about that idiot, John Joe Shelby. What was he doing? Like, why? Okay, Dele Alli can be a wind-up. Fair enough. You just stamp on him right in front of the ref. He has no brain. At the end of the day, John Joe Shelby is not a Premier League footballer. I don't know what he's doing here. Somebody send him home. He's got to go. You get me? Go back to Charlton, bro. You're a championship player at best. Everton. Rooney! I'm happy for him. I know I've talked a lot of crap about Rooney over the last few years. And you know what? I won't take it back because he had to go. However, I don't want to see his career just fizzle out. He's done way too much and deserved way too much for him to go out like that. So I was happy for him. He scored a goal for Everton. The winning goal. He looked comfortable, he looked mobile, he was playing some nice passes through. He looks like the expectation and the weight of the expectation is no longer on him and he's just able to be a bit more free, which is wonderful for him and wonderful for Everton, I'm sure. You know, hopefully he'll be a good signer for them and help them make that real push for that top 4 position, because that's what they want. They want to progress, and I think Everton under Koeman, with the players they're signing and trying to sign still, I think they're going to do they're going to be a surprise surprise package this year. I think if certain teams are not careful, that top 4 spot is up for grabs for them. Now let's talk about some of these relegation battlers. Crystal Palace, 3-0. You lost 3-0 at home to Huddersfield. Okay, you have a new manager. Okay, Frank de Boer. You know what? A lot of people seem to think he's going to be the first manager to be sacked this year. I hope to God it's not, because I like to see good coaches who have a progressive style of football succeed. I don't know if trying to keep a possession game and this, that and the other with Palace, you got a team in Allardyce's image. So to try and change up their whole system and style of play and everything that they do, it might go very wrong for you before it can go right, and it depends if Palace are going to have the patience, because we've seen them sack managers if they feel like they're going to be under threat of relegation. And I think this year, Palace may be under threat of relegation if they try to change too much. Brighton, it's not fair to judge them off a Man City game, because I can't lie to you, some of us big teams are going to be scared playing against Man City. They have a very, very scary attack. The only difference is, when they had opportunities to pass the ball, they couldn't find simple passes. 3 or 4 simple passes. It was quite poor. I don't want Brighton to go down for one simple reason. Chris Hughton's a black manager in the Premier League. He's the only one. So I don't want him to go anywhere, man. Just survive. Just survive. Swansea, they did well to get a draw against Southampton, but don't expect that to be the pattern of the season. I think Swansea are going to struggle badly this year, especially once they lose Sigurdsson, which looks like it is going to happen. I'm sure Everton will probably wrap up that sign-in within the next week or 2. Once he's gone, you're talking about 50% of their goals. I can't see how they're going to survive this year. Best of the rest. El Clasico last night. Barcelona hauled one whooping. They got Muay Thai elbow again. They got moved to 3-1 by Real Madrid. It was comfortable. I mean, Real Madrid, to me, they're looking like the most dominant team in Europe by a mile. Barcelona, they're in real trouble. They had troubles before Neymar left, but especially with their over-reliance on that front 3. Now that front 3 doesn't exist as a 3. There's still 2 of them. They still can make all the difference. But if you look at the other players in the squad, Iniesta's... Oh, it hurts my heart to see this, but Iniesta's fading away. Deulofeu, this guy couldn't make it at Everton. He couldn't make it on loan at Milan. Why the hell have Barcelona bought him back? Denis Suarez is better than him, man. He's not serious. He's not a Barcelona player. Andre Gomez is not a Barcelona player. They have a lot of problems. I think Barcelona are going to struggle heavily this year. Real Madrid did this without Cristiano Ronaldo. He came on, and of course he got his customary goal, like he always does. But then he got himself sent off. Silly boy, really. The first one, taking off your top to celebrate the goal. You know the way he does. The second yellow card, he was unlucky to receive. I don't think he dived. He did definitely get pushed. It wasn't a foul, but it was just, he was running at full speed. The ref shouldn't have given him that yellow card. But what he did that was stupid. Why did you push the ref? He's now been banned for 5 games, confirmed. Diego Costa, back to Chelsea. There's a lot of problems going on at Chelsea. He's refusing to come back to England. He's refusing to ever step foot in Chelsea again. He said he'd happily sit in Brazil for a year and not get paid. Well, your wish has been granted, because he's just been fined 2 weeks' wages by Chelsea. Now, it doesn't seem like much, but that's still 300 grand. 300 grand for 2 weeks of not being at work. I like Morata. I think he's a very good player, and I think he will surprise people, but I'm not sure he's going to be the right replacement for Diego Costa. And is he going to be able to carry them the way Costa did? The last things, Ox. There's been a 35 million bid apparently from Chelsea for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Whether Arsenal accept it or not, I don't know. But both teams, if he does move there, I'm not sure if he's going to play week in, week out, and I'm not sure where that leaves Arsenal. West Ham in talks for William Carvalho. It looks like that's going to get wrapped up, hopefully, possibly even before the end of the week. So, what I want to know is, why are Arsenal and Liverpool, who both clearly need a holding midfielder, not going in for William Carvalho? He's levels above what West Ham can offer him. Why have you not gone for him after you've been linked to him for how many years? It doesn't make any sense. This is my prediction as it stands for the Premier League table this year. I think United are going to win the league this year. I do. I really do. I think we've got a strong chance. I see it being a battle between United and City. Spurs, I think whatever they're doing, I think they're going to have a good season. Like not as good as the last 2, but they'll have a good season. I think 4th and 5th is between Arsenal and Chelsea. I'm not sure which one. It really depends what happens between now and the end of the transfer window. So I'll make another prediction between where I think them 2 will finish towards the end of the transfer window. And I can't see Liverpool finishing higher than 6 this year. I think they've got a wonderful attack, and they can beat anyone on their day. I just don't think their squad's good enough. For relegation, Brighton I think are going to go. Swansea, I think it's their time. And I also think it's between Palace and Newcastle. I think more so Newcastle. I'm leaning more towards Newcastle getting relegated. I don't think they have an inspiring squad at all. They got a man like John Joe Shelby leading the wave in. So I don't see great things from Newcastle. But Palace, it really depends if the board adapts to the league or not, and we'll see what happens.